Hey guys, hello. Thank you, Jim, for the subscribe. Kitty is saying thank you. So, we are doing today a feedback stream. But first, I can show you a miniature I think that I haven't shared yet. But I took pictures of it before I shipped it to my client. And let me find it. This one. Okay, which one is this one? Oh, this one is the correct version. Oops. I'm just happy to have Jim. If you have any of your miniatures for feedback, just post them in the Discord. I'm happy to give some feedback to them. I'm channeling today the my Loki. Very cute kitty, and he wants to run away, but he has to do his responsibility of being the stream cat. Very cute and very sweet, right? Right, Loki? Okay, you can go away. So yeah, today is a feedback stream, as I said before, and this is a miniature I've painted some time ago. I finished it like I don't even remember how many months ago. Yeah, thank you. It was honestly a very hard painting to do, and I don't think that it's very well visible on this photo, but in real life, those middle of those highlights were done in mint green, so they were like the effect of this miniature is that the middle of this, you know, fiery lady, like those strongest highlights, the strongest, like the lightest points, look kinda strange in a way, because this mint green wasn't very obvious, but it was there, so it was very like jumping on you, like while looking on those highlights. And because the highlights were colder than the rest of the miniature, they were kind of popping up or out, I'm not sure. Yeah, so this is her, and I did this kind of base. Wanted to do something cool, like similar to, I think that I've posted it actually on Discord, but I didn't post the finished pictures, right? And this is the base I did for it. Yeah, I wanted to do something similar to my pixie also from Ignis Art, and wanted to do something cool yet simple with this base. So and the basic sculpt has like this, I don't know, like this wavy point in the middle, so I didn't have to sculpt it that much. It was basically over there already sculpted, so I just glued it on the plinth and then glue around the plastic art pieces to create like those rocky little rocks, lava rocks, something like that. And I just thought that it's perfect for it. Yeah. I can show you I have. Is my World of Warcraft running? No, it's just my desktop. Okay, so I will maybe show you the basic miniature. Ignis Art. The basic miniature is this one, and she's meant to be. Okay, what's going on over here? She's meant to be a floating spirit, in a way. And I painted her in a fire version because basically my client wanted it so. So I agreed because I thought that this is a very cool idea. It wasn't my own idea, so like this is the example of me collaborating in a way with my clients. So sometimes I come with all of the ideas for the interpretation, and sometimes my clients come up with a cool idea of how they want to have something painted. And usually they are very creative if they ask me for something, and I'm happy for it because, you know, it's a challenge for me to execute it. Feedback channel is in the comment criticism. Yes, right, it is. I will maybe change the name of the comment criticism channel to feedback channel because it's kinda not obvious maybe. Yeah, so give me a second. Comment criticism, change it. Feedback channel. Okay, got it. Loki, can you please move? Okay, cool. Okay, I changed it to feedback channel. I think that it's easier now. If we have anyone over here who is not on my Discord, and if you want to join, just click in on the invitation and you can go into my Discord and participate in the feedbacking process. Yeah, so I did, for Ignis Fatuus, I did this kind of base, and on the one hand it was pretty, not very complicated, and on the other hand it was a challenge, like maybe not that much with painting, but more with the construction. Because this miniature has very, I don't know, particular construction going around. So we have a very bulky miniature. The sculpt is like, you know, just a peel. And then we have like this tiny like thin, basically stick going into the base, right? So this is the lollipop construction. And I thought that this area over here, like maybe, can I? Okay, I cannot make it smaller, but and you cannot see it. Damn it! Let me save it. And you have like over like here we have like this bulky content of the miniature actually. Then we have like this very thin pillar merging the miniature with the base, and we have the base. So this is basically a lollipop, right? And I thought that the weakest point will be over here, of course, because it's the thinnest. So I pinned it. I think like first of all I just used a lot of glue to glue it together. And I think that I added small pin over here, and then and I thought that it's okay, it won't break. And but the miniature, because it became very like bouncy in a way, so the miniature, even though the pin was over here, it started bending over here, and the issue was that like it started breaking, losing the, I think that the primer started breaking in a way, and then the miniature just broke over here. So I just had to you know, completely break it, because it was constantly getting, the painting was getting damaged over here. So I broke it off and I placed some pins inside, and then you know, and I used milliput, which is very sturdy, but it was getting like I used milliput to like make it even, to even out all of the like breakage artifacts, and it was still getting damaged, even, you know, even though there were some pins inside, and the glue was losing the hold basically all the time. Hey Skyvan. Yeah, I added later some green stuff on top of it, and because green stuff is kinda, you know, still moving, it wasn't as sturdy as it should be, and then I went into basically adding some encasing of milliput around this surface. I just put a milliput mixed with green stuff on the surface around this wonky part, and then it was okay. So seriously, like this whole miniature, I struggled so much just to make it like construction, just to make the construction sound, and yeah, it was very, very complicated. And then I had to paint those hair, and I really don't enjoy when the hair has this amount of detail sculpted in, because it's very hard to paint actually by brush, of course, and I'm painting by brush, and it was hell for me. You know, it's okay when you are painting with airbrush, but painting with brush like this kind of small detail is just hell, because the paint, instead of staying on top of the every wave of hair, it just goes inside. So we have, you know, this counterintuitive highlighting and shading, because we have stronger highlight in the recess and stronger like darkness on the top of the shape. In my opinion, there should be at least 3 points of supporting the weight. Yeah, I think that artistically it would be better if this miniature went like, would have like this little leg breaking off from the main like bulk of this bridge basically. So instead of like one thick bridge, you would have like second and third maybe. It would be also more realistic in a way, because usually, I know, maybe not realistic, but it would be more artistic, because usually like stuff is not that, you know, consistent, in particular if it's magical. So it's nicer when it just flows. And yeah, and this here we have basically ice cream on the cone, and the cone is very not sound structurally. If you were to paint this miniature, I recommend like putting over here very thick pink and then just breaking it off, or I'm not sure, maybe here was the gluing point, I think. Yeah, so this was a separate part of the miniature, and this was very problematic because we had another gluing point over here. I didn't remember that. Yeah, so I had to encase this into this milliput green stuff sandwich to make it sound. Yeah, there could be some splash of a water either of whatever there is. Yeah, exactly. There could be, but there is none. Yeah, and that's why this miniature was a struggle for me. But I like painting it, especially in this, from this like angle, and also I try to paint a little bit of like this like ash mixed with smoke on the flatter surfaces around, but it was very hard to take a picture because you know, the darker parts like cast a lot of light bouncing out of bouncing off them. And in where I painted black, basically we got a highlight, and I just decided that okay, I tried to make it, you know, I think that I took like 3 times photos of this miniature, and I decided that okay, I tried, I need to say goodbye to this project. So the shitty photos I got, they stayed with me. I know that it's better in real life, but you know, it is what it is. Okay, so that was the introduction to the stream. I hope that you are ready for the feedbacking session. I will just have a look on the feedback channel. Okay, we got a miniature from Jim, so I will just quickly add it. Did I save it? Okay, I saved it. Okay, guys. So we are going into the feedbacking part of the stream. I will start with something older, and okay, let's go back to the feedback channel. I know that I didn't finish all of the feedbacks from the previous one, but a month has passed, and I think that they are not that recent / relevant, because I think that most of the paintings just went forward without my feedback. So I will just go into the more recent ones. So we have Sgt. Pepper, I think, right? And this is an abomination from Zombicide, and let me catch up. Okay, so Sgt. Pepper tried new things with it. Started with painting a value sketch. I think that I'm talking about this miniature. This is from Zombicide. Oops, no. No, I closed it. Oh, no. Push open. Okay, got it back. So this is I think that this painting... let me answer your question, sorry. How do you feel handing things over clients after you painting them? Any you wanted to keep? Yeah, I wanted to keep some of them, like some of my miniatures. One of them is Lesha, and she's a night elf. Oh my god, sorry guys. I need to get a second monitor, basically a second screen, to be more efficient. Okay, so I regret giving away, regret, this one wasn't painted on the commission, so it was my decision. I feel deeply connected to do this one, and I think that I will paint another version. Maybe slightly, I don't know, technically better, because even though this one is pretty good, I would say, it was just painted, I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago, and I think that maybe some things I would do better, maybe skin tones, stuff like that. So, and I actually have this bust in my stash, so I think that I will have another go with this Night Elf / Tyrande inspired World of Warcraft character. And on the one hand, I kinda miss her. It's not like I totally regret it, but I miss this miniature because I like it a lot. And on the other hand, I know that I can just paint another one, and because I feel connected with it, the new version I would keep it in my collection, basically. Or at least I would keep it to myself for a while before selling it. So this is the one, and let me have a look. For sure, Mama Bucho. And this one is more complicated because what is premiere release? This one is more complicated because this is Mama Bucho, so she's very hard to get. It's very hard to get a copy of Mama Bucho. Lesha from before is kind of hard to get, but she's more available because it's more recent sculpt. And also it's not that limited because in theory Ignis Art is made a limited release, and they sold only 200 or 250 copies a few years ago, but they are finding the copies in their warehouses every few months, so we have a chance to buy them somehow. For example, on last scale model challenge you could buy Lesha. So it's not that hard like not that difficult case. Mama Buho is much more complicated because she's actually limited release and there are no new copies coming up every few months. And also her price like raised a lot. So I need to find a copy and pay like 6 times the usual, 7 times the usual value of a bust to be able to paint her for myself. This was a commission, so, and I was very happy to just have the opportunity to paint something, like to paint Mama Buho actually just in any way, like for myself or for anyone else. This was painted for Sergio, very, very nice collector. Hey Sergio. And I was very happy to handle it to him. But I know that when I will get my copy of Mama Buho, the painting will be basically a sister painting to this one. And I also painted my druid version of Arcane Traveler in this similar like grassy clothing druidic vibe, because I really liked this painting overall, and you know, I wanted to have at least something vibing in similar way at my house. And what more? I think that I would find a few more. I like this one. I regret not having it, but I gave it to someone basically as a present. I don't regret it that much. But I think that I would paint another version for myself if I had this opportunity as well. This was a very cool painting, in my opinion. Yeah, and I think that I would find like maybe a few more, but like, do I regret it fully? Like getting rid of it? No, I don't. But for sure, I want to paint like new version someday for myself. Yeah, or maybe something similar, like different miniature but in a similar way, because you know, not like, you know, sometimes the idea matters and not the miniature it was actually painted on. And for example, like the Mama Buho idea, I will be happy to get a Mama Buho, but also I painted Arcane Traveler in this druidic vibes, and I have like this essence for myself anyway. Okay, so we have going into the feedback. What we can improve over here? I think that the usual advice is black lining, and I actually think that black lining in this case is the most important, because it would bring some more order into this painting. Because most of the miniature is very, very warm, I would go for dark blue color to contrast it, basically. And I would paint some, you know, some lines to separate different areas, and clean the painting, basically. So I don't know, for example, okay, I need a brush. Brush would be very useful in this case. And this is too dark. Oh, sorry guys, I need to bring the browser so my screen won't play World of Warcraft music in the back. Or I will just turn off the music. Okay. And I would just black line. So as I said, like on the previous streams, black line is black only in theory. In reality, it's a way of like dark lining or just outlining something. So I would outline stuff and bring, like, you know, The underlining, first of all, cleans up the painting in a way, because it just brings, like, you can more clearly see the difference between different surfaces on your miniature. And even if you have some kind of like different colors bleeding into each other and maybe being not that very cleanly painted, you can just, by overpainting the lines, sometimes it just cleans up itself. So this miniature is very like organic, I would say. So, you know, first of all, it's a bad sculpt because this is a miniature, like not bad sculpt, but not that high quality casting maybe. Because this is Zombicide, this is a miniature for a board game. It's casted in not that high quality. I'm not sure if it's even resin. It may be some kind of I don't even know what material it can be, but for sure not resin, like, or like this traditional hard resin. It's usually it's more bendy in a way. So that makes the detailing not that great. And then you have usually some not cool and very hard to clean mold lines, and you know, it's just when the casting doesn't have that much detailing, it's just harder to paint because too chaotic, too unclean, very hard to work with. And black lining brings some order into the chaos, and you can even use stronger shadows, stronger lines to make it more like graphically easy to understand. So yeah, I'm just bringing some values with this black lining. It works kinda like with painting. Sometimes you need, you know, those lines, those and know this roadmap of what is going on actually in the stuff you are looking at, and this is the case. It won't be perfectly, like, I'm painting the line over here, but I would actually shade it. Stronger shade from the bottom. And for example, like on the base over here, you can see like it's kind of strange because it's just like this color floating into this color, and with this strange line of highlight over here. Just paint it dark, even a thicker line. It will make it more like acceptable visually. So black lining doesn't actually need to be black, right? Just a darker color. Yeah, exactly. And it doesn't sometimes have to be very dark at all. So for example, if you were to black line two very light colors, so for example one would be like this. And another one would be, okay, I think that color was too dark, so maybe I will go with, sorry, just pure white. Okay, so if you had those two colors, let me go back, this kind of surface, right? And you would have those two colors over here. Can you see it? Yeah, I think that you could see it. Those two colors over here going from one to another, just adding like this kind of black line. So this color is dark when compared to this whitish base color and this brownish base color. But in general, you wouldn't say that it's very, very dark. So black lining is like basically painting a darker color and not necessarily dark in general. When I have to, for example, when I have a white shirt on the miniature and Caucasian basic skin colors, so in between those two very bright colors, I wouldn't paint a black line because it's just too stark. I would go with kind of brownish color, also with the color more like in the color of the skin, because it would look more natural, because color like shadows on casted on the skin go more into this like violet-y brownish colors, so it would just look like a natural shadow that is casted maybe by the end of the cloth, because when you usually have something laying on your skin, even if it's very, very thin, you have a little bit like shadow just casted on your skin. So this is this black line we are trying to sell. Do black line at the end or as part of the process? I usually black line, I know, at the 70% stage of painting. Not in the beginning, not in the end, but kinda like in this endish stage of the painting process. It also depends on the surface I'm painting or the miniature I'm painting. For the Alliance, it also depends on what miniature I'm painting, because sometimes if it's more like angular, then maybe I will need this black lining earlier to evaluate if my painting is right. And sometimes it may be more organic and maybe I'm painting more like in a expression way, and I may not need those black lines right away. But I would say that like the half stage to 70% stage of painting, this is my window for the black lining. Okay, so we did black lining, and you can see like how it works over here. I will maybe erase this beautiful thing over here. And just the lines, right? They are serving as like this shadows, and they work like inking in comics. So you can see more clear what's going on. And I think that for this one I would maybe also add a little bit of more shading. Even though there is shading done, I think that darker shading would bring even more like order into this miniature, because basically all you need over here is some more order, because it's very, I know, kinda not dirty but kinda chaotic. And more shading on the bottom. And also you can sometimes just shade or simulate the shade on the base. So I would maybe shade it from the middle, so the base would be a better background for the miniature. And now over here it's hard to judge because it's in the shadow anyway. Something over here. And like, see how big the changes? The shadow and the black line, and you can see only shading. Oops, sorry, I'm turning off the backlining. only shading is doing its magic. I think that also the shade on the base is like doing a lot, because it's adding a very strong contrast between the base and the top of the miniature. And then this is just a complementary element, right? You could also add some highlight over here, because it's not very the values are not very strong over here, and I think that's maybe white would work here better. So on the top elements I would go with pure white of this white stuff, but it's not very sheer, maybe, I don't know. It's not very important, this white over here. So yeah, I would go with something like that. So again, some more values basically, and just black lining, shadows, lines, and maybe some highlights on the top. This is my advice, yeah, for Sgt. Pepper, yeah. This is this one, and I honestly think that this is the amount of this is the golden advice for like 90% of the paintings, right? So I may go repeat myself, but I think that it's nice to see the difference between the shaded and non-shaded miniatures. Another one. This is from Kiora or Kchora. I will go with Kiora because it's pronounceable for me, and my Polish mother language brain, I don't know. Hello, so I'm pretty new to this. I started painting about 6 months ago. Very good progress. Mainly minis for D&D game, and I really enjoy it. Lately I learned about display models and would love to get into the side of the hobby. About a few weeks ago I found your channel and your work. That is thank you. That is unbelievable, and I thought your feedback stream would be a perfect way to do so. Yeah, I hope that this late feedback will be helpful anyway. So I challenged myself to work on a piece only to enjoy it and not for my game, and here's the result. First time doing a lot of things and working on a bigger scale. Honestly, like for a bigger scale, this is a very, very nice painting. Not sure how to make things interesting. Any feedback to improve would help a lot. Okay, so for this one I can already say that first of all, black lining will help a lot. This is actually pretty nicely and neatly painted. I would say that it works pretty nice as this right now, because it's very clean painting and not everything needs to be very contrasted and stuff like that. Depends on what effect we are going for. Kira asked about things being more interesting, so I will of course go into the optimization of contrast basically. But in general, for example, an easier way to make something interesting would be, in my opinion, for a fantasy miniature, paint, for example, a war paint on his face, maybe. I'm not sure what color, but this miniature in general has a very harmonious painting palette, color palette, because we have this a little bit phalto green / cold green / forest green greens over here. We have the greens are going from cold into the warm greens and then into yellows and some browns. So and also we have very saturated bluish colors on top and some grays. Okay, I'm not sure where I have my the real color wheel. The one and only, the best, the real color wheel. Can I enlarge it? Okay, I want this. I cannot make it bigger, but I want this. Okay, so we have the real color wheel. And as I said before, on the color wheel, we start from like, here are the saturated greens, cold greens. Here we have a little bit of the saturated blues. Then we go into yellows and some browns with the very saturated red. So the only saturated color we get in this painting is like this kind of warm green, and this cold green over here, which is kind of saturated, but also it's a cold color. It's not that intense. And I would go first of all with more interesting color. It also depends on what you really want to do with your painting, right? So if you want to have very harmonious painting, maybe adding the saturated colors like saturated red is not a good idea. But you know, this is very easy way to go, basically. So you could add a little bit of, I know, some kind of design. Okay, does this color work? It doesn't always have to work, of course. I think that it's kind of too strong. Hey Minimonster, you got it this time. Okay, or maybe go with this one. Let me figure it out. Okay, I will go with this. So I don't know, maybe 3 stripes. Adidas. It's always a good way to go. Something like this. So you know, he's a fighter. So he may have some kind of like his clan insignia painted on his face. It could be, you know, red, it could be white. You could like, and this is the colorful way. It's kind of, I don't know, in my opinion, it's more interesting this way. You could then repeat it, for example, over here, or I don't know, paint a cut design. Something like this. This is supposed to be funks, but I'm failing at it. Yeah, so I don't know, some design on the, you know, just repeating this color and then repeating it somewhere on the sculpt, and that would make it more interesting, in my opinion. You could go for something desaturated but maybe cute. So for example, go for white and just add a white patch on his fur, because you know this is a tiger. Tigers may have different fur colors and they may have some patches, so he could have patches all over his fur. That makes the painting more complicated, but also his skin is kind of flat and it doesn't have the fur texture sculpted in, so we can paint it. I think it's more boring option, but interesting as well, like boring in a way, not contrasted. Hey Pascal, nice to see you here. Turquoise always works as a color for everything. Yeah, it does, I agree. Yeah. So I would go for this, or you can merge two ideas and, you know, get this pinkish one, maybe, I don't know, give him a red eye, something like that. Yeah, and then, I don't know, a heart insignia, stuff like that. I don't know. First of all, something interesting, so some designs, some, I know, and by design, I mean either a heart on the shoulder plate or a war paint on his head, something, right? And then interesting splash of color, so you can add a strong color somewhere. I will go back to the Adidas lines because I like it more. Adidas here and maybe Puma logo over there. And this looks more like a weasel than a Puma, but okay. And now a unicorn, lol. Okay, so Puma over here, Adidas over here, and you can make it more interesting this way. By the way, Happy New Year, guys! Okay, so this is making stuff more interesting. And then, of course, I would go into the black lining again. I would go, like, I won't stay that much on this topic, because we just did it a while ago. But just to demonstrate how it would change the things. And this area over here is a good example of doing a lighter black lining, because for the darker elements I would go with violet, and for you can paint a darker nose, for example, but for this over here, in a second I will go for a much lighter color, because it's okay. I will go into something more desaturated, because I don't like this bright violet that much. For this, for those two stripes in between, I will add just like gray or something like that, and not too dark, because like if I was to paint like this dark line in the middle, it would look very stark. And I would normally go for something like this because it looks more balanced. Yeah. And I will just go over this miniature, adding this black lining, and also I would add some shadows, stronger shadows, even with an airbrush, right? So, for example, like over here under his face, stronger shadow, just to make the face different from this grayish mass of color. So something like that. This is a good attempt at non-metallic metal, but stronger contrast again, and maybe more. I don't know, like that. Line, please. I'm painting with a mouse, so I'm not that precise. And for example, like this area over here is a good example of black lining, because just making this line darker, this recess between those two shades, will make this yellow more like cleaner. And without it, you can see like this the line where the yellow stops and the green starts. So this darker line will just tidy areas like that. Same goes for this area over here. Even this little detailing, like those stitches. If you, I don't know, run too far with your brush and just bleed one color to another, that just go back later and add this lining, outlining. It will make everything much more tidy and, you know, nicely painted. Also, thank you for the follow. Also, I think that it's worth to practice black lining, because like even if it's hard to do in the beginning for you, you will practice more of the brush work and you will refine steadiness of your hand by trying to paint those tiny lines all over. And sometimes, you know, it's not that important about doing the perfect line, and sometimes it's just important to have a darker color somewhere, because the darker color just makes sense for your brain. So you don't have to be very perfect, in particular in places that are far away from the focus points on your miniature. But sometimes just adding like a little bit of wash or a maybe kind of wonky black line will do the job. And in general, just improve the miniature, not make it perfect, but in general improve. So lining is so tedious, one of my least favorite things, but it makes things look so much better. Yeah, it does. You can try to work with oil washes. I'm not doing it myself, but recently some of my friends started trying it out, and if you make the wash in a good way, it really runs into the recesses. In my opinion, it's not perfect, and I just prefer to go with the brush, but they were very happy with the outcome. So if you hate black lining, you can like start with those washes and then maybe refine the painting later. But there are some like people trying to work around the black lining to make it less tedious. I personally like it, but I also have very steady hand. So it's not that hard for me, but I understand that people don't like it that much. Okay, and I will shade this shield over here, because right now we have the face is very important, and right beside the face we have like this area that is not very important, and in my opinion is stealing the attention. So I will just make it darker in the back of the shield. I actually love lining because of the end results. You finally start to see it happen. Yeah, in my opinion, for me, black lining just ties all of the colors and all of the areas together. like make it work, like brings more sense into the painting. It's much easier to understand what you are looking at. It also helps you train that steady hand. Yeah, exactly. So this is it. We could also work on some highlights, but I don't think that I will like dwell on it that much, because just basically do deeper shadows and black lining, and also like right now looking from far away, when you look over here, for example, you can see the thick line going around. But again, this is Photoshop. This is a picture. In reality, if you will do a line, it just it gets lost in the end among all of the detailing, and just makes sense. It just melts into the background of the detailing and all of the colors, all of the shades. I will also shade the base, because darker and shaded base usually complements the miniature a lot. So I will just add it over here, and I won't go into any detail over here with the base. I will just do a very general, very broad and very inexact shading, because it's not important. It's important that it's a little bit darker than the miniature. Because then from looking at this big blob of color, you end up focusing over here. Sorry. So yeah, you could go with stronger highlights as well, but in this situation, just going with the stronger shadows and black lining and adding like those two elements of color changes the miniature, right? You can see like right now it's nicely painted, but it lacks this like the strong points basically, and adding shadows brings you more contrast and makes the other areas shine through basically. I didn't paint much in December, so I didn't really have anything for feedback stream. There is a dwarf I'm working on, but it's basically I just need to be better at non-metallic metal. That's not really feedback. You can post a picture of the dwarf and I can give you feedback on the non-metallic metal basically. I'm always happy to talk about non-metallic metal, and if there is a lot of non-metallic metal, it will be the perfect example. So yeah, this is, I don't know, maybe here, a little bit more darker. The shadow just brings more, order into the painting. Hey, sorry, Tekereru. Hey, Tekereru, yes, happy that you like it. So yeah, and again, I repeated almost the same thing I did before. But because this is a completely different miniature, it kind of works on its own, right? So I think that it was worth repeating it, and I hope that it will help. The next one, next one is this one. And this is a kind of cel-shaded miniature. It's a very cool idea and cool execution. It was painted by T. Can I see his nick actually? If I will enlarge, because sometimes I cannot. Okay, so it's painted by T. I hope that it's Tio, but I'm not sure. And T says that it's the Kim Mechanic 3D printer. This is one of my newest projects. And my first attempt at 2D painting. For this artwork, I was inspired by the video game Borderlands and the anime style. I would appreciate any advice on what I could do better in this project. For this project, I remembered what I wanted to say. Let me have a look on the chat. Oh my god, everything is melting together today on the desktop. By the way, I just received my smoker this week, and already someone commissioned me to do. See, this is a very lucky miniature and a very good one. I will be finishing mine this month, I hope, and I'm very hyped up for it. Now I need to get another smoker for myself. When you will finish the smoker for a commission, you can buy another one for yourself to treat yourself a little bit. or buy smoker and something else to treat yourself. Yeah, this work is very, very cool. In general, I think that the execution of this style is very nicely done. I like that not everything is outlined. So we have, for example, over here, we have some detail that is not outlined, and it's just shapes. So those like hexagons, they work just fine. Some of the detail gets lost in the crowd of the other elements. So I think that, for example, like those wrenches and pliers are not that visible, but I also think that it's okay. And not everything needs to be, not everything is important in the composition. Smoker is from Kingdoms. What I would do, I would actually do, I wouldn't change that much on this miniature. I think that the biggest offender over here is that we have very cold colors in her face, like on her head, and we have this basic Caucasian skin tone, which in itself is a colder one. And like we have this basic skin color, and we have two very strong and very saturated colors around it, and that makes the skin very desaturated, and I think it makes her very pale. So I would actually, the only thing I would change in this painting, I think, I would I don't know, maybe not the only, maybe I would add some of the black lining. Maybe I will start with that. I would add just a little bit of black lining. Let me adjust the lines. I would add a little bit of black lining to create more texture and more consequence, over here, but just a bit, because it's everywhere else, and I think that it should be also over here. I would add stronger black lining over here. I know that it's not focused, but I don't know, it's just, my eye goes over there instantly, and I would make the line thicker over here. So, but this is not very important. Also over here, I would add something darker. This is not very important in general. I would go there because this is my OCD, painter OCD. For me, those are those little areas that could use more detail, basically, but this is not important in general. What is more important, in my opinion, is to add more color into her face. So this is the second change I would do, but first in the importance ladder of being important, let's call it like that. And yeah, so something like that. And see, it fills the face instantly. Small change, difference from 0 to 100. Black lining is the word of the day. Yeah, black lining. Do the black lining. Black lining is the new non-metallic metal. Yeah, people actually think a lot about non-metallic metal, but and they really want to learn how to non-metallic metal, but honestly, black lining is 1,000 times more important. And so yeah, I will just put it over there, this lip color. It's enough, in my opinion. I would just add this. If you would like to do more, you could just, I don't know, do a blush color, but not that strong. Blush color to bring even more color to her face, and maybe orange, because orange blush is actually a very good choice, but it's not very important. Do I want to keep it? No, I actually don't want to keep it. I want her face to be pale in general, but those lips being over there. And then I would do like one more step of my painter's OCD, which is fixing her brows. This line in the middle over here, I hate it. This black line, I need to remove it, and I will bring peace to the galaxy with it instantly. And I think that I would make it the only blended area on this miniature. So just make it gone, and maybe put forward a little bit of this turquoise color. Sorry, I need the brows to be on fleek. Sorry guys. Something like that? Yeah, so something like that. It's not a big change, but I really hate when the brows are like the blocks outline with the black. So this blackness needs to go. We need to have like this little bit of subtleness. And for the black lining, I think that I would add this small black line over here, because we have a line over here and this lip corner is not balanced because of that. So let's go back. Something like that. Yeah. So small changes. G. Small changes, but I will do something like this. Yeah. And honestly, with the black lines, I don't think that the black lines on her body and her weapon are that important. I think that actually the most important with those changes is this line over here and the lips. These are the most important for everything that we changed. And then everything is just a minor detail. And again, this plays a big role because this is a bust and bust is a portrait, so everyone is looking on the face because we are just, you know, used to it. That is one tip I'm gonna take. I have always struggled with eyebrows, but this blending in the middle is actually very good, thanks. Yeah, happy to hear that. Actually, if you will, I assume that you are Amanda and your brows are strong, right? Because my brows aren't strong at all. I have brown hair and like, so I'm dark blonde and my eyebrows and eyelashes are kind of delicate. So I don't see this on myself that much because I have kind of fair eyebrows anyway, but men usually have darker eyebrows, and you can see like over here your brows are usually thicker and darker because not eyelashes but the hair just runs from the middle to the outside of the face, right? So we have over here in the beginning of the not miniature but the brows, the hair are like starting and they are not layered yet, and they start layering the longer you go. So middle usually is the thinner and the brighter and the fairer, and then it becomes like this nice dark area. Usually I for the brows I like to, this actually is a nice shading for the brows. I usually like to start shading them, but not that strong. Over here, like in the one third of the brow, maybe a bit further, I like to start making it darker, and then over here I like to make it like the darkest. Yeah. Eyebrow queen. Good day. Hey, Jared. Supposed to be working. Start of the. You can work with me on your eyebrows. Slowly getting back into the work routine. Yeah, it must be hard for you. First the trip to Europe and then the holidays, right? Managed to do another 2 entries, working on an additional new one. Yeah, you are a beast, Jared. You are just, you know, banging out those entries and like giving zero fucks. Carly would agree with your eyebrows. Yeah, I think that just because she's a woman, she has the good expertise on this matter, right? Okay, so we get this one done. Bang bang, done, finished, and yeah, we can go to another one. Did I get? Yeah, this is the latest one, I think. 15, 16 entries. Oh my god, seriously, Jared? I painted like so little compared to you. Like I painted little in general, but when compared to you, I'm just ashamed. Okay, so Jim's piece. Can't really see from the side, but there's Blue Island and the rim light from behind. Early days for this one. I know the tartan part is really messy, but I kind of like the messy style of it. Was going to dirty and fade it up and try hide the tartan or just paint, or I wouldn't paint over it. Keep it as it is. But what I would do is to add more shadow. Just let me get into the purples and violets. I will go with purples and violets for the shadows because first of all I like them, and second of all they complement reds and greens very nicely. So just go with some more shadowing over here and here, maybe into this arm. Yeah. And I know, I think that there is a little bit of messiness on his face and around here. I know that it's not finished, but again, black lining will add a lot. Okay, I'm signing off. Have a great stream, Natalia. Hey, thank you, Pascal, for coming by. See you. Where's Kujo when you need him? Yeah, no Kujo today, and we actually have a tartan, so I'm disappointed. I would go with the shadow over here in the middle, actually, just for the the simple non-metallic metal addition, and of course more black lining. I could have done it on the different layer, but okay. Making it darker where it should be dark, doing the obligatory black lining around those lines over here. Also, we could do a thinner black line over here. My face cam is always out of focus. Sorry, I will improve it. Like this year, this is the my goal for 2024. Improve my face cam. And in reality, my face cam is not important. Important is black lining on my miniatures, or on the miniatures I'm trying to give a feedback to. So yeah, black lining on all the way. And I will go back into the face, like black line this funk a little bit, just to bring more order into the painting again. And I don't know, like, it depends what you want to do with his face. I think that the issue on this miniature is not the tartan. I think it's fine and it's okay. It's messy in a right direction, I would say. Do you think the painting is lacking saturation, more desaturated than I normally do? Yeah, I think that you need some kind of maybe, not saturation, but maybe highlight. Just to bring more detail and focus into it. So maybe, I know, a stronger highlight on his skin, for example. Because right now everything looks like it has the same texture, actually. Or black lining in between the fingers also. Yeah, so I don't know what is on his back. There is something sculpted, right? I don't remember what was there. He definitely lacks some highlights over here on his face. And because everything is in very similar value, like color, and you know, we have the repetition of like this reddish skin color, the greenish eye bags, and then everything else is repeated on the tartan. We need something, you know, more going around. And he has a frog on his back, which I've currently an OSL source. Okay. So we are not seeing the frog. I think that if it's a OSL and if it's very strong OSL, you could add a blue outline maybe? But I don't think that it will work actually, but maybe a little bit of a bluish like outline like that going around. And I think that it would work best if he had like this small rim of darkness. I'm not sure how I would execute it actually, but usually the OSL is the strongest when you have the line of darkness in between the OSL and the skin tone. But you know, we have the light source going from this direction and from the like this front, so it's hard to put a line of darkness over here. So maybe just a rim of blue going over here. His hand is like put forward in a way. So I would maybe, I know you could paint this blue like frog, I don't know, trail residue in a way, you know, like trying to make it maybe shiny or something like that to show that the frog was there. I don't know, something like that. To, you know, show that she jumped out there. I don't know. And I would maybe add a stronger green eye color for him. Yeah, I like to think in this way, like to do the storytelling. So I have an important character in the back, and it's like the sculpt is showing that there is something over here, right? So by adding the bluish tint, like stronger tint over here, and showing that the frog was over here, you are basically telling the story from the front, right? Yeah, so I don't know, I think this is the way my brain is wired, and this is just how I think about miniatures. I think that I would, I know, not, or maybe yellow, sorry, maybe green eyes, but with a little yellow dot in the middle. I don't know, something like that. So I would give him saturated eyes to bring more color, and his eyes are very, very small. But if you will use very strong color on them, they will be very visible, right? You know, in the good amount. So something like that maybe, and then those highlights I was talking about before. Could change his skin tone to be another color. I don't think that you need to change it to be another color. Like if he had a dark skin, if you want to work that much on this painting, I think that having him, like him having darker skin tone would help with this OSL directional lighting, right? Because it would be just more contrasting. So yeah, but just adding stronger highlights into his skin will also work fine. You just need to paint them in, right? I'm not sure. You could add some 5 o'clock shadow if you want to add more interest. It's too intense. Okay, right now it's fine. And maybe over here a little bit more, because it's facing the highlight area. And then also highlight on this belt over here from the top, and in general keeping the highlight stronger from this area, and also shading like this this fur and everything, shading everything basically on the miniature. So see, it's not changed that much. Like I didn't repaint the whole skin tone, but just adding the highlights adds this shininess into his face. I think that this is the only thing you were missing. But adding a darker color will also help, like the darker base skin tone. Do you think I can get away with the really messy tartan if I add dirt and fade? Yeah, of course, it's very nice tartan. It's messy in your opinion, I think, because you know that it's not perfect. But if you are someone that is looking at it and who didn't spend all of the hours painted it, I can see a nice tartan. Maybe over here is not as nice, but you can make it dirty basically, right? So add the dirt in places that will make it okay for you, and don't overthink it, because in general the colors are there, the shapes are there, the contrast is there, so it's okay for the viewer who didn't paint it, and it's not that much in depth with the process. Hey Malta, you can always freehand holes in the shirt if there are places where it's, yeah, this is a perfect idea as well. Holes, dirt. If you don't want to paint the texture of a tartan, think about stuff you can paint there that will make any sense. Basically, I think the tartan makes sense on this dude. He looks like an ogre, and the tartan looks messy and sweaty and faded, like a big gross sweaty ogre. Yeah, exactly. Also, the stains will work over here, right? I think that I would paint at least a little bit of the tartan, or you can, this is an ogre, so maybe he saw this. Created this garment himself. So we can, if you don't want to paint the tartan anymore, we can basically paint like a line, which is not working on this layer. Paint a line over here with the, and this can be any other color, right? Anything else, I would go for brown, but it can be anything else. Yeah. So if you don't want to do something anymore, be creative about it, and you can make it work. I was wondering if I could make it look like his top was two different fabrics. Yeah, exactly. You can make it work. Cheers, mega helpful. Happy to help. And also the chat chimed in, so this was a group effort. And for the shadows, going with darker underarm also, like over here. Yeah, it's not that much to change. And look, like, you know that this is not painted, but in general, with those changes, even without the freehand over here, it works, right, from far away. So, you know, have the line of the priorities, you know, right. Usually designs are not that important. The most important is the stuff you can see from far away. So the shadows, highlights, black lining in a way, but usually in the way that makes the shadows work better. Was thinking of stealing your Taft idea to try and make his... yeah, please do it. Do it. But also then you can paint... you know what? You can... or okay, I'm not sure if it won't overdo it, but you could give him green hair. Right? Yeah, so you could do it, but if you will add tufts over here, also paint the hairy top of the arms, because it will be corresponding, right? Yeah, but very, very cool piece anyway. So we got the feedback, and now we are waiting for you to have it done, because this will be a very cool painting. And we had one more, I think, on the Discord from Minimancer. Oh, there's one more from Malta. Okay, so we'll do those two, and then I will be finishing the stream because my throat starts to hurt. No, I don't want to. Go away. Is my stream working? It is, right? Yeah. Okay, this guy. This guy, I don't want this opened, and multi-guy, and Jesus Christ, go away, Firefox. And we will have everything done, I think. Okay, so we are starting with Minimancer. Minimancer says, I didn't have a plan going in with this guy. I knew I wanted a green metal that wasn't highly polished or reflective, and wanted to practice my gold. The shoulder pad on his right is still basically not painted. Okay, so non-metallic metal. I think that the biggest issue for your non-metallic metal over here, for the golden one, is that you started with the yellow base tone, and you just need to add like tones like this one, which is very nice. And you know, basically just add the darker reflections to make the yellow work, because in gold, especially more the saturated one, like the saturated, less shiny one, there is not that much the actual yellow, but there is more of a brown, everything in between, but not gold, like yellow, and the real yellow is visible mostly on the like highest highlights / brightest reflections. So going for the, and also contrast is always very important. So don't be afraid to go for like this light and dark interchangeable checkerboards. And just put those values in. Yeah, I thought that there is like much more difficultiness in this one, but it actually has a pretty good shapes and values going around. I would also add those checkerboards, so light dark into the green. I know that it's not supposed to be very shiny, but if it's supposed to be any kind of metal, it should to some degree catch like this little interchangeable reflections. And I'm not trying to reflect like very realistically some of the reflections, because sometimes it's just enough to go bright dark and try to keep the reflections from the top bigger and broader than the reflections on the bottom, like the light reflections, of course. Yeah, I would still be shiny, just not as reflective, I think. Yeah, so you know, this is work in progress, so I know that not everything is painted, but I would start with adding darker tones into the gold, I think, and maybe deepen them even more. At least up in some parts. And then I would try to work out going by the edge highlights, trying to add some brighter and desaturated reflections, light reflections. Also, if it's reflective in any degree, you can add a little bit of light reflections on the shoulder blades, but just a little bit. I think that this is too much already, so, but I just wanted to sketch them in. So something like that, and then the edge highlight. On the gold, I would go into very desaturated, almost white. It's tricky because everything on this model is almost shiny, the hair and the, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was actually wondering if I should add a little bit of non-metallic metal into the hair, like non-metallic metal reflectiveness, right? Why can I not see the layer? What's going on? Ah, because I have the eraser. Okay. Actually, I think that we need even stronger, darker reflections to make the edge highlights work. And I will add like a line over here on the nose, because before I didn't go into the detail with the different areas actually. And black lining, even darker lines. there is very little skin on the model and it's physically hard to get to because it's so recessed in the sculpt. Yeah, but the model is pretty nice anyway. And it's also like printed in one chunk, right? Oh, I can see that there is some texture sculpted in, and I suppose that it's not helping anymore, like, because it's not very deep. Is this the Black Crow Dwarf Bust Mini? Oh, this is from Black Crow. I thought that there is there is a different one that is 3D sculpted. Like, not 3D sculpted, but 3D printed. This is one of the three Black Crows. Yeah, they were very cool, the whole collection. Like, they are, I suppose. Okay, so it's kind of wonky because I'm working with the mouse, but I'm adding the black lines of black lining to make the light edge highlights work better. And also I will move around a little bit of those darker reflections so they will make more sense. Right now, I think that I would add one more line over here. And maybe add some of the green reflection over here. I see that you already started doing it, so it's a very good choice. And something like that maybe. And this is from directed to the top, so maybe brighter green. Okay, so we have the values over here, and it's started looking kinda reflective, but we are missing the brighter reflections. So I will go back and try to make those highlights stronger slightly. I'm not sure if I will be successful right away because sometimes, you know, it's a exploration from myself as well. But we are missing those very light values. Something like that. And then darker over here. And then the edge highlight a little bit thicker. I'm not sure how it works in real life, because, you know, this is a 2D basically picture, so it's flat. But I would try to make it work like this a little bit, and maybe like some of the checkerboard over here. Yeah, I hope that it's kinda useful for the sculpt. So something like that. and you can see like from far away it looks more shiny. It's not perfect, but something like this. I'll make this thicker and darker, and then I will go into the highlight color again and maybe put one more line of reflection in the middle, because it usually helps and brings more detail. Something like that. So, you know, I need to put it in order in my head first of all to make it right, to make it work basically in any way. But I usually, when I try to paint highlights, I try to paint them in line. So, oh, and one more, we need a line of darkness over here. So, basically, I will just fix it over here. Okay, so I decided that I will run with the lines of darker reflections, like this. And because I started putting it in lines, it started working like better. And I agree about the bird, by the way. I think I should push the highlights. I think that it will help a little bit. I will go into this bird in a second. I will just explain my line of thinking for this non-metallic metal. Let me just deepen this area more, and I will be done with it, I think. And to deepen it, I will go actually into this slate violet. See, it looks more interesting, even if it's violet, not just like black, darker or something like that. Violet is contrasting yellows and green actually, so it works as a nice darkening color. Okay, so my line of thinking over here was to start putting those highlights and those shadows in lines. And I need to find a nice color that will, okay, pink works always. So, as you can see over here, here we have a line of highlight, here we have a line of darkness, it kind of jumps like that. Here we have a line of darker reflections, here we have a line of darker reflections, it's kind of broken, something like that. I think that I would actually make a line like that, and here's like a theoretical continuation from this line or something like that. So just treating this shape as one big shape and doing those lines running in one line through most of those different shapes that go into one shape will make it look like it's actually shining. So don't treat like this part of bird like a one area that needs to be painted in non-metallic metal, and then the mustache in another area that needs to be painted in non-metallic metal. Treat like this as a one shape, and even better, like treat this as a one shape. So try to put as many lines and like consistent highlights, shades as you can. And I would go like, this is not perfect because I would need to have this thing in my hand to actually evaluate it, like in a way I would maybe paint it the best, but I would try to fit the strongest and the lightest colors like over here around this his middle of this of his face basically. Then I would as I illustrated before, do this line of thin darker reflections, and then each further line of darker reflections would be thicker and darker, and each line of lighter reflections would be thinner and darker as well. Yeah, so the thickest and the lightest reflections over here, and then thinnest and brightest dark reflections over here, and then everything consistently goes darker and the darkest stuff goes thicker. And also always remember about the edge highlights, because after you add those general lines of highlights and shadows, I will maybe try to... Where is my folder? Give me a second. It was somewhere here. Not here. It was here. Okay, so oh yeah, this is this. Over here you have the illustration of how to distribute the intensity and the lightness of the highlights. So over here the thickest light reflections, and over here the dark reflections go the thickest to the lower. And also I have one version somewhere where this is the lightest and this is the darkest, but this is not this version, sorry. And this is like the example, right? So in the direction of the source of light, the highlights are the brightest and the thickest, and then you go thinner light reflections and thicker dark reflections, something like that. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. It should be there in a week. Yeah, I will paint it for you then and send it back so you will see the difference, right? For the shoulder plate, then I would actually okay, I need to find a nice color to make it work. I'm not sure that if it's perfect, but I just want to show you the... No, oh, this is awful. Oh, no. Okay, so I would try to repeat those lines consistently on this green, but I'm not sure how exactly I would do it. So maybe in places where the lines of darkness ends, I think that the green on the shoulder plate would be darker, and where those lines are light, the shoulder plate would be lighter, but it's hard to execute, I have to say. Yeah, but in general, I would try to continue this philosophy from over here onto over there, and also it depends on the angles of the sculpt, right? But in general, try to just treat the whole shape as a whole shape that has consequences, and be consistent about those lines and those philosophies you set for like one area, then continue with everywhere else on this one shape. So the so basically the logic will stay consistent. But see, I just added like those 2 dots of highlight and it already started looking fine. So you don't have to do much with this place over here, just make this shiny and then complement the green by logic from over here. Yeah, and for the brow, bird, I would actually first of all darken it closer to the bottom. I need a stronger coverage. Not as strong. Okay. New layer. Multiply. So I would kinda darken it to the bottom to create like this vignette effect, right? Hey JC. Hey. Thank you for coming by. And have a good one, right? And I would just shade a little bit the bottom of this bird to create like this vignette effect. See, like from this one big surface you were looking at before, you are just making it smaller and directing the gaze into the face, like the viewer's gaze. And maybe ends of the mustache I would darken it as well to make it more interesting. And then I think that I would take this color over here. It's so central and heavy. Yeah, exactly. It would make it much lighter. I would actually move this highlight from the bird more to the top, so up. And I would move it over here. And over here, not to overdo it. So maybe I will erase it a little bit, but in general just move it a little bit. I wanted to change this one. Yeah, move it. And also on his on this braid, I would make it the lightest over here, so on top of each bun and in the middle. And if you want to make the hair more reflective, even, you know, though the man bird usually is like facial hair usually are not that very reflective, and they are not like this Pantene Pro V hair, but if you want to make it really shiny, you can first of all embrace the highlight in the middle, but then paint like this secondary reflection going from the bottom. Then it would be very, very shiny. But I will ignore the shininess from the bottom to keep it simple. And I'm not sure if I'm not doing it doing the bird fur, but this is just to illustrate the point of highlights and its placement. And then I would go for some more highlights in lines, basically. So every wave that goes up would have this highlight in the middle. And I know, maybe a little bit off. Yeah, so like that. Okay, now I really want to put the stronger highlight in the middle of this mustache, so I will just go with it. But also I think that adding some shadow into his under eye area, so giving him some makeup basically, will kinda, I don't know, help his face a little bit, because I think that it needs some shading. So making this area over here darker and then adding a little bit more shadow all around will make it more interesting, maybe. Yeah. So something like that. Yeah. And also right now I think that his eyes are very chaotic, and you mentioned that it's hard to reach them. But my advice to make them look good is basically give him eyelashes. So try to paint more or less even line over here, and then just try to make the eyes more consistent and darker. And that should, you know, help him out a little bit. Yeah, but good luck with working it out, because it will be a struggle. But when you will finish it, I think that it will be worth it, because the sculpt is very, very cool, and you are painting him in very nice colors, and also you will learn a lot in the process. I hope that you will finish it, but I also understand that it will be hard to do so, because it's kind of heavy technically for you. So yeah, but this is my advice. And you know, if you will progress him, I can give you advice on like different areas. So I don't know, maybe a bear, non-metallic metal in the future or something like that. Also, like I would paint a little bit of like this reflection added over here. This is like the kind of reflection that would fit into a more reflective non-metallic metal, but I like to transfer the colors, especially if something is shiny. I like to transfer them enough. So over here the reflection from the chainmail, and over here the reflection from his bird. So I like to transfer them because they just make the metal look more interesting. I realized I painted him like a lamp my dad used to have when I was a kid, one of those green glass shade lamps with gold base. Yeah, you did. emerald shiny dwarf. And just some reflection and color noise on the, yeah, exactly, on the non-metallic metal, just to make it more interesting. Yeah. Okay, so I had melted piece, and what is the narration? Say a little or as much about this if you want. I'm working on improving my precision and brush control, so I'm painting element by element on this instead of the usual sketching approach. What do you think of the colors and composition so far? I think that the colors are very, very good, and I like it. This is, you know, the classic emerald, again, emerald lampshade composition, right? Okay, let's have a look on the lamp. Oh my god, it's updating. Okay, I moved something on my OBS. What was that? What did I move? No idea. It's invisible anyway. Okay. Yeah, definitely this one. This lamp over here. Now I have more direction for when I go back to him. Yeah, good luck with finishing him, really, because this is a very challenging project, but I think that it's worth working over it. Let me guess, more black lining. For this one, yeah, I think that black lining actually would help more. But I think that Malta is like conscious about it. So adding more dark over here, and this armor is very, very dark. It's actually black going into green, so black lining of course will help. With this one, because we have yellow gold and green I don't know, base armor, let's call it like that. I think that going into like this more violet shadows will actually work in, not like Natalia likes violet, so let's add violet, but in actually color theory way. So adding multiply, adding shadows that are kind of violet into this non-metallic metal will make the darkness in non-metallic metal even more dark, right? Because we will have not only the values contrasting, but also the colors contrasting. And I would add more lines of dark and light reflections to the non-metallic metal to make it even more reflective and wow effect, basically. But actually it's just a tinkering, and you know, this is artistic choices, so I may do something but Melton not necessarily have to do it, because his idea about the painting may be different. And I think that like those violet darknesses slash shadows slash dark reflections will complement the non-metallic metal. And I would add like a bit more over here, for example. Over here I don't want to overdo it, I'm just mentioning it. Yeah, so basically color differentiation in a way, but also I think that I would do something with this with this plate over here, because to show the physics of this armor, because it kind of works in a strange way, because in some areas, so for example over here, it's darker to the bottom and lighter to the top. So usually when we have something black and the light hits it, it brings out the color of the blackness. So usually black is never a pure black, it usually is a color but very, very dark. And when the black is lit by something, the black catches the light that the lightness that is bringing out the color. And for example over here there is this I don't know, and in general in this one there's this lack of physics going around, because in some elements the lighting hitting the black brings out the green, and in some instances it doesn't. So I think that's tidying it up a little bit, and for example like bringing a little bit more of the green over here and going back with the darkness. I don't know, maybe over here would work. It's not perfect example, I want to say, but I would try to come up with this physics and just try to do it consistently all over. I see what you mean, should have more mid-tone in volumes. Yeah, I think so. And then just add, if you want this to be very shiny, just add more layers of darkness. Yeah, but a very good experiment. Like I'm also aiming for doing something like this for my painting. Oh, and for example, like over here it's facing, like this non-metallic metal is this part is facing down, so I would make a much thinner much thicker and darker line, and then I will go with this color and then just add like kinda one more line of reflection. So just do whatever you are doing already, just make it more intense. Yeah, this is maybe not the perfect example, but like something like that. And like over here too, like everything is fine. Loki came and sit in front of my screen, so I don't see everything perfectly right now because the cat is obscuring everything. So Loki. Oh, we have the kitty. Yeah, so like for example on this card, and again I know that this is very tiny, so adjust the feedback to the scale. On some areas it may be hard to execute, so ignore it. But I would, for example, add this like around that reflection, and then I would go into the lighter color and paint a little bit of lightness over here, and maybe just some dots over here to show the texture of those little how it's called, teeth, and then maybe a little bit of the dot somewhere over here, because I know that there is a nose hole, let's call it like that, but I would try to add a little hole to show the edge highlight on it, and maybe deeper over here. you know, like just like you have all of those layers of reflections already in place, just add one more layer of the lines in between to make it more shiny and effective, basically. Yeah, but you are going in a great direction, and it will work great. Also, I don't personally think that everyone needs to have like all of those, you know, shiny effects in every miniature, because this detailing is very, very small already. So you know how many reflective stuff you can paint in one miniature. Yeah, but if you want to go deeper, just add more lines of reflections, darker and lighter, and it will be nice. On those, like on those elements that are pointing, like not pointing but directed on the side, I would definitely add the color reflected, and then very dark base in between. It's not perfect, but it's there. But oops, sorry, it's a bit much with the 40k style because everything shines. Yeah, exactly, and you know, over detailing with over shining, and it's just a lot. I wouldn't, honestly, I like this miniature and I like your painting, but I wouldn't want to paint it just because of the amount of detailing. But I like the additions of the stronger shadows, and I very clearly see the effect. Yeah, honestly, just you don't even have to add the light reflections, just add the dark reflections. One more, like, you know, in between everything, one more dot of darkness, or one more line. Separation and detail is what I want to practice on this. Yep. So this is a very good practice piece for you, and good luck with finishing it. Because this is actually a lot of work, and I think that from this whole miniature, my favorite area is like this leg over here and the lion over here, and you are doing a great job already. Yeah, so I know I will just show it like that, and I didn't change that much. I actually think that like those darker reflections are the biggest additions and the most you know, complimentary. I need more than I would like. Yeah. Yeah, as I said, I wouldn't want to paint it, but it's a very nice miniature. Yeah. Looking forward for the end effect. And I hope that it won't, you know, take you 100 years and won't demotivate you before the end line. Yeah, please do. Okay, so this is everything for today, and the next week I will see how many like entries I will have, but the next week on the next Thursday, yeah, I will have another feedback stream. So if you want to have anything feedbacked, just post it on my Discord, and again I will maybe paste the invitation wherever it is. Oops, sorry. It's over here. So here is the invitation to my Discord server, and if you want, join it. If you want to have the feedback, just post your work on the feedback channel and do a little description. Loki, hey. Do a little description of what you are aiming for, or where you are going with this painting, so I will understand what is the goal of my comment. Are you going to post your feedback version in the Discord? Yes, I will save all of those images, and I will post it on the Discord. That was my goal for today, and thank you for bringing it to me because I actually forgot. Yeah, so I will the next week. My goal is to do another feedback stream. If I won't have that many entries, I will either just do a section of feedback stream and then I will paint a little bit, or I will do the feedback stream in 2 weeks. Yeah, but my goal is to do it next week because I would like it to be like more often and regular. Yeah, so thank you guys. Today I will try to do a not invasion but raid. Give me a second. Do you have anyone that is actually streaming right now, guys? AC Miniatures is streaming. Okay, so we are going for AC Miniatures. Raid AC Miniatures. Thank you for the stream and the feedback. Yeah, I'm just happy to help, and it's nice to talk with you guys. Also maybe Marco this time. Marco, what is the exact name of his Twitch channel? I have to check it. Twitch Marco Frisoni. Marco Frisoni. Oh yeah, I got it. Okay, so we are raiding Marco today. Yeah, so have a good evening, guys, and see you next time. My next stream is on Wednesday, right? And this should be just a normal painting stream. Yeah, bon appetit, Minimancer. Yeah, and thank you for coming, and have a nice evening, and bye, guys. Loki, hej! Ty to widziałeś?
Loki!